Call the meeting for the Johnson County School Board to order for November 23rd, 2015 at 5 o'clock. Before we do that, we've got Mr. Sully's going to ask for amendment to the agenda.
We'd like to have amendment agenda to include board policy here needs update on preschool education and also discuss possible litigation.
Make that motion. Second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Sir?
Judge Wells, we'll turn it over to you and let you swear in our new board member here, Brad Frisby.
Okay, as the circuit judge for the 24th Judicial Circuit, I must administer the oath, both constitutional and statutory, to all members of the Board of Education before they enter upon their job duties. And Brad, if you would just raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I, Brad Frisby.
I, Brad Frisby.
Do solemnly affirm.
Do solemnly affirm.
That I will support.
That I will support.
The Constitution of the United States.
The Constitution of the United States.
And the Constitution of this Commonwealth.
And the Constitution of this Commonwealth.
And be faithful and true.
And be faithful and true.
To the Commonwealth of Kentucky.
To the Commonwealth of Kentucky.
So long as I.
So long as I.
Continue a citizen thereof.
Continue a citizen thereof.
And that I will faithfully execute.
That I will faithfully execute.
To the best of my ability.
To the best of my ability.
The office of school board member.
The office of school board member.
Of the Johnson County Board of Education.
Of the Johnson County Board of Education.
According to law.
According to law.
And I do further.
And I do further.
Solemnly affirm.
Solemnly affirm.
That since the adoption.
Since the adoption.
Of the present Constitution.
And the present Constitution.
I, being a citizen of this state.
I, being a citizen of this state.
Have not fought a duel.
Have not fought a duel.
With deadly weapons. Within this state.
Within this state.
Nor out of it.
Nor out of it.
Nor have I sent.
Nor have I sent.
Or accepted a challenge.
Or accepted a challenge.
To fight a duel.
To fight a duel.
With deadly weapons.
With deadly weapons.
Nor have I acted.
Nor have I acted.
As a second.
As a second.
In carrying a challenge.
In carrying a challenge.
Nor aided or assisted.
Nor aided or assisted.
Any person thus offending.
Any person thus offending.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Now your statutory oath under KRS 160.170. I, Brad Frisby.
I, Brad Frisby.
Being duly sworn.
Being duly sworn.
State that I am eligible.
State that I am eligible.
Under the law.
Under the law.
To serve as a member.
To serve as a member.
Of the Johnson County Board of Education.
Of the Johnson County Board of Education.
And that I will not.
And that I will not.
While serving as a member.
While serving as a member.
Of such board.
Of such board.
Become interested.
Become interested.
Directly or indirectly.
Directly or indirectly.
In any contract.
In any contract.
And or claim against the board.
And or claim against the board.
And that I will not.
And that I will not.
In any way.
In any way.
Influence the hiring.
Influence the hiring.
Or appointment of district employees.
Or appointment of district employees.
Except the hiring.
Except the hiring.
Of the superintendent of schools.
Superintendent of schools.
Or school board attorney.
Or school board attorney.
Congratulations. Sit down.
This is the largest crowd we've ever had come out for a swearing in. Next, we're going to go on to the district recognitions, and I'll turn it over to Mr. Sayre.
At this time, we're going to turn over to Mr. Hall down at the middle school here, and he's going to recognize our state championship 8th grade football team here. I guess one of the few that's done actually a back-to-back here. What's wrong?
Thank you, Mr. Sager, members of the board. Yes, our football program for the last 4 years, we've won 4 straight, actually. This team has been members of back-to-back state champions. I just want to congratulate the parents for the support, of course the student athletes and the coaches for all the hard work and time they put in and the accomplishments they've had. At this time, I would like to turn it over to Coach Holbrook and let him talk about the team's accomplishments and accolades.
Just a few notes about these guys. You know, they're great athletes, but they're also great academic kids. They had a great season, 9-3 this year. We started out a little rough, but by the end of the year we got it all back going again, and they answered the challenge at the end for us. You know, back-to-back champs is hard to believe. With as many middle schools as there is in the state, I think there was this year probably close to 60 some middle schools in our division, which we compete in the biggest division in the state. There's 3 divisions, and these guys compete in the biggest division in the state, which is Division I. And like Mr. Hall said, we've won 4 in a row. And these guys are going to continue, I think, at the high school, and I think they're really going to, you know, we've sent those 4 groups through, and now they're showing at the high school level, which we're in the Final 4 at the high school. And now I think these guys are just going to continue the tradition. And, you know, also I'd like to thank our parents. Our administration's been great. It's not easy for us to find football games, and he helps us out. Mr. Hall, Mr. Eastep, you guys, anybody that just allows us to travel to the teams that we do have to play. And just a great year and a great group of kids. And we appreciate you guys.
Scott, we do appreciate you, the coaches, the team members being here today, and all the parents. And again, everywhere we travel, we have a great group. And again, when we were down there at the Bryan Station, those couple of days, we did have a great response here from our community, our parents. That means a lot for us. It says a lot about our community, the important things that we do have. We appreciate all the parents, everyone that comes out and supports our teams at Johnson County Middle School, as well as other athletic and academic endeavors here in Johnson County Schools. So again, we appreciate you. I know some of you've got to get to a basketball game. I think over in Martin counties, that's the reason we'll let you all go first, and we do appreciate that. I guess we'll start now then on Mr. Halls, are you here?
No, I'm not here.
I couldn't find you here. I didn't see you standing over there.
You need to look a little lower. Look down there for a second.
School, you are free to go. If you need to, get out of here and get on over, I think, to Martin County. Is that all right, Coach? Yes, sir. We do appreciate everything you've done.
Before we get into the recognition, we've got one special guest with us that wanted to say something. So, Elf, you're up.
Hello, I'm Buddy the Elf. I'm representing the Johnson Central High School drama team. We are December 3rd, 4th, and 5th performing Elf the Musical at the Historic Fifth Theater on Main Street. As I said, the performances are December 3rd, 4th, and 5th. There are evening shows at 6 o'clock, and we would love for you all to bring your elementary schools out and for the matinees at 10 and 1 on both of those on Thursday and Friday. When our football high school boys do make it to state, you can still come on Thursday and see us, and it will be awesome. We have worked very hard on this production, and the productions are our only source of revenue and our only source of profit. And so to continue with another, we really need the support for this one. So we would love it if you all would come out and support us. Thank you.
Good job done. If you show up your costume, you get to go first. If Mr. Kirk, Mr. Wetzel wants to speak to our FFA, we've got several FFA members with us who competed recently in the fall regional FFA competition, so whoever wants to kind of, you guys probably got the individual statistics better than I do.
Okay, both of us had students that were competing in the contest at Morehead State University for the regions. There are 9 schools that compete in our region, and our floral plant identification team, they placed first, and it was Brianna Gerald, who was second high individual in the region, or Mackenzie Gerald, Brianna was the sister yet, and Cody Wallace, and MacGyver Holbrook, and Tyler Hackett, and Lindsay Wetzel. And in auctioneering, I also had 2 students that were in auctioneering. In the senior division, we had Daniel Music. I don't know if any of you have heard him auctioneer or not, but he's really good. He placed first. And we have one that's up and coming as a freshman that's going to fill his shoes in the junior division. He placed first. His name's Lucas Hill. And also, we had one tractor driver that placed first in the senior division, and that was Will Fife, who's back here with us today. So, Mr. Kirk, do you want to do the ones over livestock?
In the areas of livestock judging and horse judging, again, you know, when you do these contests, you look at these animals and you evaluate them on structure, on muscling, on what the, can that animal perform the task that you're looking for it to perform. In livestock judging, the livestock judging team placed 3rd overall in the region. And the Big Sandy River region has about 9 schools in it, so we're pretty proud of the 3rd place rating. The members of that team, a couple of them are with us here today, Kristen Sayer and Justin Smith. Others on that team, Kenneth Pears, Ethan Russell. Kenneth got first high individual on the livestock judging team. And as many people was judging livestock, that's a significant accomplishment. On the horse judging team, we had Luke Bloomfield, Shelby Combs, Caitlin Kennedy. Caitlin's here with us. She's one of our freshman members. Cheyenne Shepard and Lauren Van Hoos. Caitlin, the freshman, placed 2nd high individual in horse judging. That was her first trip out. We just kind of, we let her in her to kind of get her feet wet, and she went down there and walked away with 2nd high individual. So we're extremely pleased with that. And so we're just, we're tickled to death how we did at Moorhead. Tickled that we got to take the students down and let them see, what the agricultural program is like at Moorhead, and hopefully get their sights set, on that in the future.
While they're getting a photograph, you want me to go ahead and introduce Coach Van Hoos. He's here with the girls soccer, who was regional champs this year. So Coach Van Hoos, I know some of the girls have got other activities, but we've got pretty good assembly here. Go ahead, Coach.
On behalf of the Lady Eagles soccer team, I want to thank the board for your support throughout the year, especially the faculty at the high school. Mr. Halsey, Tommy McKenzie, I don't know what we do without them. This year, our overall record was 16-4-1. Another good season. Compared to last year, we're 18-2-1, but that's part of my fault because I put together a lot tougher schedule, and I think that's what we got to do to continue to improve. We actually, our signature wins this year, we were able to go to Western Kentucky and compete down there. We played Madisonville, Hopkinsville, and was able to come away with that tournament as winners. Apple Cup, again, this year we won. I think that was our four years in a row for the Apple Cup, and then, of course, our regional title that we won. 2013, when I first came into coaching, of course, we got a great group of girls, good student athletes, a great support group with our parents, and I want to thank all of the players and the parents for that. But 2013, there's a mayor rankings that we were ranked 118th, I think, in the state. After this season, we've climbed 59 spots, so we're currently, ranked 59th. So again, we just thank everybody for your support, and hopefully we'll continue. Thank you.
You want to introduce the girls that are with you there? Kind of take a step forward, ladies, or something, Coach.
Senior Rachel Budema. Oh, sorry. Sophomore Molly Davis. Sophomore Rebecca Preston. Senior Madison Anderson. Junior Madison Hunter. Freshman Michaela Moore.
Stand up, be proud.
Freshman Zoe Daniels. Freshman Shelby Collins. And freshman Mackenzie Vanders. Is that all it is?
We've got Annie.
Oh, I'm sorry. And junior Annie Vanders. I'm sorry. And it's freshman Alyssa Path.
While they're getting a photograph, I'll introduce Coach Jason Shepard. He's in the back here. You might want to step up a little bit, Coach. He's got some of our cross-country folks with us. They've had another outstanding year. So, Coach Shepard, do you want to talk about who you got with you and how it went this season?
Yes. First, I want to say, before I talk about some of the accomplishments that we've had, we were able to do this just because of some of the excellent upperclassmen that we've had that have been with me, some of them since they've been in 7th grade.
I've got Olivia Burchett and Emily Fairchild and Sean, who have all been with me since they've been to my eyes as little babies, since they've been since 7th grade. And they're not just great athletes. I mean, they're great students, and they're also kids that have a great moral compass about them. And in order for us to continue to be successful, they are helping to point some of these younger athletes that we have in the right direction, and that's why we're able to continue to do as well as we do. Some of the accomplishments that we had this season, we ended up being runners-up. The girls were runner-up overall. They got beat by Harlan County, but next year we're going to fix that, I do believe. So they got to qualify to go to state. Also, as a team, the boys qualified to go to state too. Some of the individual accomplishments that we got is Michaela Pierce. She couldn't be here today because she's having basketball practice right now. And before I go on, I mean, she ended up being a regional champion back-to-back. So she's regional champion twice. And for some of you coaches that are still in here, if she's not on your team, and if you're able to get a hold of her, you've got to get her, because I think she's on a streak right now of like every sport that she's been involved with
Soccer team
has won a regional championship. She's like 6 in a row. I mean, so it's almost unreal, unprecedented what she's done. And she's got a will to win that I've never seen comparable to anyone else. I mean, she's going to win or else. That's all there is to it. So she's awesome. And the boys, I've got Sean Curtis, and Sean ended up being runner-up this year. And Jacob Price ended up being, I think, 4th. He was 4th in the region. And Jacob at state, he goes down and they rank you after state's over with. They ranked him, he's in the top 10. He's actually, I think, 7th in the state as a freshman. So, and also for the girls too, I've got Allie Wells, and Allie, she ended up medaling also. And so the future's bright because our young kids are doing so well. So I'm looking forward to what next season can hold. And I'm really proud of these kids and their parents, because there's not many kids and parents that got the dedication to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning and come in here when it's cold outside and run 3 miles in the morning. And then as soon as school's over, to walk right back out there again and do it again. So I'm real proud of these kids, and I'm proud of the example that they set for our school and show for our community.
high school recognitions.
Well, we appreciate all our high schoolers things, the great accomplishments they have. And again, Larry back there in soccer, got a young team coming back, and I know they're going to do well in the future. Sounds the same thing. Coach Shepard here in cross country, and again, our FFA team, as always, with the direction of Mr. Wetzel, Mr. Kirk, are doing outstanding things. We just appreciate the many athletic and academic accomplishments of all our students who are doing here at Johnson Central High School. Thank you. We've got a video Friday night. Go and watch it real quick. This is the last play of the game down here on Scott on Friday night.
Hey, describe for you little cards back there. Who is that guy?
I think he's asking for the football back. Good question.
They confirmed. They confirmed. It was, as you say, it was no doubter. He was inbound. That's right. Tom was going to jump. We're going to again Wayne County this Friday night. Hopefully have another big crowd. We had more people up there from our community and things supporting our Golden Eagles, and one proud supporter of community Thanksgiving.
Next on the agenda, seek a motion to approve the minutes from October 26, 2015's regular meeting, November the 2nd, 2015 special call meeting, and bills and payroll through the 19th of November. Motion made. Motion's made. Is there a second? Second. Second by Melvin. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 5, renovation report. Mr. Rowland.
Just to catch you up here, we have completed all the documents for Frankfurt. We are now in the process of, and I think we've got one back for the contracts for the project. and we're working with the architect to set up a pre-construction date, and hopefully soon after the holidays we'll get ready to get started. The roofing contractor's been in contact with us, and he's ready to go. Just to send
calling right now. That's my fault.
And the architect just talked to Frederick and May, and they're ready to get started with it. To catch you up on the facility plan, is that all right?
That's fine.
The architect has been here and completed all his site visits. They're compiling that now, and we expect to report back to you real soon. And Mr. Sawyer may have some more information on that. We've got to get everything together, but our architect's done his part.
He's currently working on assessments of the buildings and things, structurally and things, see where each one of our building here at Johnson County School stand. And since that, get that information back to us, then we will start our facility planning committees and our groups and have our public meetings and those type of things. So we'll have to wait until we get that documentation and things back, and we'll meet with our Don Martin, KSBA, and get all that information going with our different community stakeholders here and our everyone involved.
Item A there is a payment to Murphy Grace Trimble for $29,251, and that will bring us current, and I would recommend you pay it.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve? Second.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Any discussion? There'll be no discussion. We'll call for a vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
He's also looking, the architects asked me about maybe a date for going forward here with the groundbreaking out in Flat Gap to do that. So there's, y'all have dates that'd be more convenient for you to do that. I'd like to show up and do that one day, let us know, and then we can make that message back to the architect, what would be good for all of us.
Item 6, new business. Mr. Sager.
In the last month or so, probably about a month ago, I got an email from KSA asking us to be part of that grant for us to be part of the strategic plan. And again, we always want to have a vision for Johnson County schools going forward in the future. As part of that plan, we have Mr. Adams and Mr. Burchett and Mr. Cochran that went to spend a couple of days down at KSA and got the feedback and things for us to come back and lead our district forward in this. We have met with each one of the schools here in the district to talk about a vision and plan for the future. We want all our stakeholders to be on the same page, whether it's our teachers, whether it's our administrators here in the board office, whether it's you as board members, and most of all our community. And one of the things, this is kind of the presentation we've done out to all the schools. I'll ask Harry and Tim and Tom and Noel and all of us have been out are welcome to jump in here and say something anytime you want to here. But we've all kind of went to different schools at different times, made the same message to everyone. That's what we want to continue to do going in the future. And how do leaders lead an organization? Of course, you may say these look like ducks. I'm calling them eagles here because we're the eagles. But these are kind of all scattered and don't have any idea where they're going. They look like they're going. Oh, I can't touch the screen. Sorry about that. They're going in every direction. These are a little more banded together, and they kind of maybe so-and-so know where they're going. This group definitely knows where they're going in the future. And that's what we want to do at Johnson County Schools. We want to know where we are going in the future. We have done a few things here in the last couple of weeks, and doing that, one of the things we did was a survey to our all of our teachers here in Johnson County Schools, our students in 7th grade on up. We sent it out to the Chamber of Commerce so they can forward it on to our local businesses and things about what some of our core values and things were. We'll talk a little about that in just a minute. But why a strategic plan? It outlines what we want to become. We know we're already a great school district. We want to be a greater school district. We want to be the greatest here, not only in Eastern Kentucky, but in the 173 school districts here in the state of Kentucky. It measures successful milestones along the way. It keeps a streamlined focus for everyone. It helps us focus on desired outcomes in every department, in every school. It helps keep people informed. We want to be upfront. We want to have transparency of what we're doing. And it emphasizes the most critical elements for success. What makes a good plan? It's precise, it's measurable, it's actionable, and it's well monitored. Again, when we're looking at this, we want our values, our mission, and our vision in this. Again, we sent out the survey earlier, it had about 7 core values, or about 30 core values on it. Coming back, we let people rank order them, and we came up with this: integrity, leadership, commitment, and service will be our core values. We know that pride and respect in Johnson County Schools will never go away. That's always been our trademark historically for the past 15 or 20 years here. We want these to be our core values and we're going forward. And we're looking at some possible, mission statements, possible vision statements. And we've asked our stakeholders, such as our teachers, and we're asking you all as a board and other community members, what might our mission be? We're open to suggestions, things on that. Here's just a couple of drafts of that. Again, we've kind of used this here in the last couple of years. Mr. Trimble always used every child every day, and I've kind of put on, so to speak, great expectations for every child every day. Another example is the ultimate educational experience for every child every day. Some vision possibilities are learning without boundaries, the championship and legacy of learning. And we've kind of, Mr. Adams likes to kind of put these three together here sometime, and he kind of says, we want to have great expectations for every child every day through learning without boundaries, while we're doing with integrity, with leadership, commitment, and service to all our stakeholders here in Johnson County Schools. And again, we're asking our stakeholders, teachers, and you as a board to give suggestions and ideas. This is something we'll be working on here for the next couple of months. There'll be some more surveys and things coming out to our students, our parents, and our community members in doing this. Again, it's about having a vision. Where are we going in the future here? Harry, Tim, I mean, if you don't want to jump in, go right ahead.
You're doing a great job.
All right. Some goals we thought about, and again, these are just examples. I think some of the examples we were given: student excellent, workforce excellent. Again, we know we want to be financially sound. Our infrastructure, again, we're working on our local planning committees, local facility plan, community support, and internal process excellence. Those are just some examples of goals we can have not only as a district, but as a board going forward here. For example, we'd put a goal in, we'd say what's the objective, how is it measurable, strategies to meet that goal, and then activities associated with it. Those are a lot of things we currently already do. We look at our school consolidated plans, and we look at our district consolidated plans. Why is our students here? It's what it's about here in Johnson County Schools. It's what we can do for our students. And again, some of the things, how, we have board goals, we have objective district goals, what, again, our plans and all our departmental plans, where it's our CCF or CDIP, where it's our facility plan, where it's whatever plan, equity plan, we've got 100 different plans in here, but we want them all to be knowledgeable of and be able to talk about them all going forward. Now, this is just an example of one from our CDIP for Consolidated District Including Plan and Resource Efficiency, how some of the things we can do to that. Again, go back to our facility plan, infrastructure, energy efficiency, sorry about that, didn't mean to touch it. Security, some of the things we've talked about doing in the future, safety plan, facility plan, and resource plans. Again, these are just some more examples of those as we're going through here. This is our timeline we're working on. We've already, again, accomplished some of the things with our core values here, and we'll be looking forward to establish what our mission and vision is. We've had a mission statement. It's on our webpage here. And I've used this example. Everybody gets an A in here that can quote it. And it's the same thing. Our superintendent can't quote it because it's a lot of educational jargon. If it's fluffy, it sounds good, but what does it really mean? We want to be able to go talk to our community, whether it's at a Rotary Club, where it's PTO, where it's out to school, to say, these are the things that we're doing at Johnson County Schools to make our students successful in the future. This is our vision. This is our mission for that. Again, we've got a race here. What does it matter? A race is the only thing I know of, or individual, that you're going off as individuals, all in the same thing. Nobody really knows, not together. As a team, we're focusing everything together. If you look on this rolling team, yachting team, whatever you want to call it, they're all working to accomplish the same goal. And that's what we want to do in Johnson County Schools, where we are superintendent, the students, principals, parents, and family, board members, staff, community, central office, future employees. Again, using these things through our strategic plan, our goals, our CCIP, our CDIPs, our involvement, our voice, our partnerships, and our service with the community. So, again, as we go forward in this, we'll be giving you all the information on that and asking for your suggestions on what is the board, what do you see our vision and mission in the future? How can we best provide services for Johnson County School students to make them the best going forward here in the future, being college career ready, walking off that stage over at Johnson Central High School saying, yeah, they can go out in the world and they accomplish and do anything they want to do. So, open to suggestions and ideas. That's what we've told our other stakeholders, teachers, and the same thing to you all as a board. Questions or comments or? Questions?
Done a great job.
All right. Well, I've had a lot of help. I do appreciate my staff in here and things working with. Again, most of us have been out to individual schools, and we can all do this show, so to speak. But again, we're trying to speak from the heart, what's best for the students of Johnson County here going forward. And again, I think you've got to have goals and a vision and mission to accomplish that.
Thank you. Next, we'll have state testing reports. Ms. Pat.
Yes, when we were last together, I gave you a breakdown of what our test scores were for the whole district. And just to remind you, we are a distinguished school district, only 47 of those in the state of Kentucky, so we're proud of that. The next step would be for, tonight you're going to hear from 4 of our principals. We just went in alphabetical order. We're going to give you a small presentation on what they've done since the scores have come in, and a lot of the strategic planning that Mr. Sire just talked about. We're doing that in the schools currently and looking at all the different things we can do to improve our test scores even more. So we are going to start with Steve Young at Central Elementary.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Shauna. I keep telling her that Y is at the end of the alphabet and I should go last. But we're going to go ahead and go first. I gave you guys a handout there earlier, and I'll be referring back and forth to it. Our scores there at the top where we are currently, and I tried to break this down as we looked at it today with my leadership staff, my leadership team at school. We're at a 66.9, and that's 0.3 away from proficient. And that could be the difference of 1 or 2 students. And as you look at what the data tells us, our first impressions, we've looked at it several different times, but our first impressions right out of the gate was reading and language arts. And our on-demand scores were low, we had too many novices. As we took a deeper look into it, we noticed that many students fell right just short of the cut scores that were placed there. And those cut scores were basically a score that is a cutoff point from novice to apprentice or from apprentice to proficient. And we had a lot of kids who, like for instance, the cut score may be the difference between proficient, distinguished might be at 210. We had several kids that were 208, 209. And as we went through and we went ahead and counted those up, and we kind of called those borderline students. And as you can tell, in 6th grade, 5th, 4th, and 3rd, that's a lot of students. So we also saw that by looking at it, those are all within 5 points of that cut score. And looking at it, once we took a really in-depth look, we saw that math was also an issue, novice and apprentice combined. We had many growth points that we didn't get because we didn't increase the scores by 40 points or more. What we've done as a result of that is, of course, we've challenged the entire staff to be intentional and to look really closely at the practices that we have to be intentional with everything we're doing and to make sure that it means something. Not to do anything just because it was a tradition, but let's do it because it's the right thing to do for kids. And that's from the top to the bottom. We focused this summer on our staff retreat, and we talked about, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Stephen Covey's work on big ideas and big rocks, but what we talked about was looking at really the big ideas, and we went back and took that to our core content and started making sure that we were getting all the big ideas in, and then kind of worked our way backwards as we were doing our planning for the upcoming year. Hopefully, in the future, the Read to Achieve grant should start kicking in. Of course, we were the only school that didn't have that up until 2 years ago. And that's with the lower primary, and it's a reading grant. And she works with the bottom 10% of students. And that should start showing up in our state test scores this year, this coming year, as those kids get into that 3rd grade through 6th grade. So we've developed leadership teams. We have done a PLC room. If you guys look on the back of that handout, that's our PLC room. This is really an exciting spot for us. It's a place where our teachers can go. They meet in small groups there. They meet with someone from the leadership team. We're very intentional with what goes on in that room. We have made charts of our student data, and we broke those charts down into distinguished, proficient, apprentice, and novice, and where they're at. We went as far as to put last year's test scores on the year before, if we had those available, the year before that. It's all color coded, so it's easy to see. It's something like I said, we put it up on the wall every time those teachers come in and we start looking at that. And we're trying our best to be intentional with what we're doing. I've had the opportunity, being another member of the leadership team, to sit down and talk with a novice reduction coach, and we spent some serious time together, beginning to look, and we decided to take the leadership team to the novice reduction training. We came back with that, and we saw that gave us a better look at the data. We've also went to a visual learning training, and we shared that with our teachers in the PLC room, and started focusing our feedback on hard work and good effort by our kids, and making sure that they're giving us the effort that we know they can. We've identified those students, what we felt like were the borderline students, and we're really trying to be very, very intentional with the way that we address them and their learning. If we go on to page 2, we're in the process of, we do weekly PLC meetings in that room, and with our RTI kids, those are the ones that we really look close at. And what are we doing to meet the needs of those students? We've identified them as students who have certain needs, and how are we doing that? We've developed a lot of different things, including Club Day, and we've made those fun activities. Hopefully the kids enjoy coming to school, and they can get them to be more excited about it. We've got an engineering club, we've got a foreign language club, we've got a board game clubs that, and we've got several different things that hopefully are piquing the interest of those kids. Ms. Patton came over on several occasions and sat with our group. I think she's talked with each one of our teachers, our interior groups, at least twice. We're tracking those students that we feel like can benefit the most. And we have all types of different plans in the future. Those are some of the things that we're doing. One of the things that we're excited about doing is we're kind of getting back to the roots. The Kwl chart has been used in the past, and what it is the students sit down and they write. The teacher introduces a lesson or a unit, and the students will write what they know and then what they want to learn. And then they'll go back to it after the unit and actually put down what they did learn. And by hopefully empowering those students, we can get better buy-in from them. So we're excited about some things going on in our school. If you get an opportunity, feel free to come by. We'd love to show you the PLC room. Come by on Tuesday, we'll show it to you in action. The teachers are excited about it. It's a place where we can go in and work, and we can feel like we're really making a lot of progress there. So that's that announcement presentation. If anybody has any questions.
We'll have Black Gap, Mr. Yance.
Thank you, Ms. Patton. Thank you, gentlemen. I will say, as I pass these papers out to you, that from Flat Gap Elementary School and the Flat Gap community, we do thank you for your support over the last year, especially with the events of this summer and the flooding that occurred there. Tremendous support from the Board of Education, from all the other schools. Very, very thankful everyone in the community is. They speak very highly of our school system and how that we have addressed the needs of those students. So thank you for that. In our data analysis, talking a little bit about our test scores from the past year, as you can see on the paper that I've handed you there, Our overall score for the 2015 testing cycle was a 72. That breaks down with our next generation learners and the next generation program reviews. The learner score being 68.7 and our program review score being 23. The 23 in program reviews is the highest score that you can achieve. So we won't do a whole lot of talking about that today, but we'll try to keep our programs, our program reviews on that same level moving forward. I am proud to say that we were able to maintain our score from the previous year, even with all the accountability changes. So 72 as a score is the exact same score that we had last year. So we were able to maintain that, even with science going away as an accountable area and some other changes that were made. So that allows us to still be a proficient school. Very proud of that. Basically, when you look at the next generation learner scores, it is broken into 3 categories: achievement, gap, and growth. And we'll talk about each one of those individually today. You'll see in each category we kind of broke it down into where we are right now, some concerns that we have, and some strategies that we have going forward. In the achievement area, right now our score is a 71.2 with a goal to increase that score in the coming years. Some of the concerns that we have are an increased number of students scoring in the novice range. Compared to previous years, there was an increase this past year in the number of students scoring in novice in basically every subject area. We've looked at those numbers and tried to determine the cause of that. Some of it is just the nature of the students that are there, but we also noticed some of our practices that could be adjusted to maybe address some of those needs just a little bit. We also noticed that there's a high number of our students who are leaking into the apprentice range in the bottom 2 ranges. So some of the strategies moving forward to address those things, the novice reduction strategies that I'm sure that you'll hear everyone talk about with the new initiatives that are going on in the state, but we're employing all of those, focusing on those students who are in that range of score and making sure that they're included in our RTI programs at the school, and moving forward that we are focused on those individuals. One of the things that we did as a school in our primary grades was we organized a common schedule for kindergarten through 3rd grade, to where that they all have reading at the same time during the day, and that allows us for upward mobility and also downward mobility of those reading students, to where that they can read with a group that's on their grade level or on their reading level, and they're not just confined to their classroom. So that gives those students the ability, say if they're in kindergarten and they're on a 1st grade reading level, they can go to a reading group in 1st grade. Or if they're in 1st grade on a 3rd grade reading level, they can go to a 3rd grade reading group. So it gives us that mobility with that schedule there, and that allows for those students to get the instruction they need. There's also that ability for them to move backward if they need to. If they're in 3rd grade and they're struggling a little bit, then they can go down and still be in a reading group, and it's not like a special group or anything, it's just a different reading group. So we all have that at the same time, and that's worked out very, very well for us this year. We're also focusing our instruction practices on the areas of identified need. If there's something that we see that we weren't covering that we needed to be covering, our teachers have done a very good job this year of identifying those things and making sure that it's included in our curriculum. In the area of GAP, the GAP students are any student who is basically free and reduced lunch or labeled as special education. Our score this past year was 49.3. They've changed how they figure that score a little bit, so maybe we'll be able to gain a few more points in that area. At Flat Gap, nearly 90% of our students do fall into those GAP categories. So whenever we talk about the strategies that are going to reach GAP students, it's going to be pretty close to that achievement strategies also, because it's basically all of our kids are in that category. Our goal is still to increase that GAP score to where that we'll be able to get more points. Some of the concerns, once again, the increase of numbers of students in that GAP population who scored in the novice range of score last year on the test. So we've identified those students for the novice reduction efforts, and we're trying to make a personal contact with each and every one of those students, looking at names and not just a score, not just a number, but looking at names and seeing what it is that we can do maybe outside the classroom to help them in some way, and see if there's something that they might need that is beyond the educational realm in common thinking that would help them improve some way in their educational experience. So when you see that personal contact, that's what I mean by that, is we're trying to extend that outside the classroom, working through our youth service center and other members of the community, just to see if there's some need there that may not be getting met that we can help them with to try to improve their performance on this assessment. Also, we are increasing our focus on facilitating parental involvement in those students in the GAP groups. A lot of times these students are the ones whose mom and dad might not always come to parent meetings, so we're reaching out and doing other things that might help us contact those parents and make sure that they are informed of how their students are performing and how they're doing. So that means that our teachers are taking that extra effort to make another call home, trying to get in contact with those parents however they can, and arranging if they can't come to the school for a meeting, then we'll meet them where they are or meet them wherever they want to, just so that we can make that parent contact. In the area of growth, another calculation that's figured into our score last year was quite high at 68.6. And that's actually what enabled us to keep our score up where it was overall. So our goal for this coming year is to either maintain or increase that score. The big concern is the ability to maintain that growth, just because we had so many students who moved last year or who moved in their score or who scored high, that it's going to be hard for us to get a growth score for them this year. The strategies, once again, those novice reduction efforts, making sure those students are included in our RTI programs, and focus on those students who are on the bubble. Like Mr. Young said, whenever we looked at our test scores, we noticed the same thing, that there were a lot of students who were really, really close to moving into that next range. As a matter of fact, most of our students who scored novice overall were within 2 or 3 points of the cut of being an apprentice score. So we're fairly confident that we'll be able to move those students from novice to apprentice. Same thing with apprentice scores. We had a large number of those students who were very close to that proficient bubble. So we're focusing on those individual students and seeing what we can do to meet their needs, kind of meet them where they are, and help them along to move into that next area. Overall, with our staff, the one thing that we focused on is making sure that we communicate across the board. Not only having ownership of our classroom, but making sure that we own the entire school and it's all ours, because anything that we do is a reflection of that school, and it's also a reflection of Johnson County Schools. So that's one thing that I've tried to communicate to them, is that we not only own our classroom, but we own our school, and we own that score of our entire school. So don't be afraid if there's something that you don't understand or something that you feel like they didn't do last year, to go and talk to that teacher and say, hey, look, we might need to cover this a little more. Or if you're a first grade teacher, don't be afraid to go to the second grade teacher and say, what do they need to know to get to second grade, or that. So that we've organized some time for them to meet with each other, where that they can communicate that way, and we can keep that communication open across the entire school. Overall, I feel like we're in a pretty good position moving forward, being able to maintain that score from last year. And going forward, we're only 0.8 of a point away from the distinguished category, and that's where we want to go this year. That's what our staff has set their eyes on, and that's where we'd like to go. And we thank you for the opportunity, and that's what we got.
Passed your all handout out prior. Two major areas that we saw were, while we're still a proficient school this year, our score did decrease slightly from last year. With that being said, that is our novice and apprentice range increase. Speaking after these two, a lot of the same concerns that we had, those cut scores were close, but we come up on the short side of it. So we look into the second side of our handout here, it's the areas that we want to look to change that. Our faculty, we have our grade level specific PLCs, and they are working with their data analysis to focus in on those weaknesses of those specific kids. That novice and apprentice range, and I keep referring to that because that was an area that we saw that increase this year, and that's our focus area. We decrease those, our proficient distinguished is going to increase. So you'll hear me refer to that, and you'll see that multiple times on this sheet. Also, we make sure in our master schedule that we have weekly at least 45 minutes to an hour 45 minutes in primary, K through 3, and an hour for our upper grade to have common PLC time. During this time, they can focus on their data analysis. They can focus on those students that may need the extra help. They can communicate during these times. However, we do have common planning time so they can touch base as well throughout the week, but it's not that set aside greater range of time as on Wednesdays. One thing that I have, I share Ms. Ward with Mr. Young, and if I can make the space available, I love his idea of the PLC room, where we can put that data in there and keep it up where we can visit that without having to take it up and down. So I love that idea, and that's something that I do want to take moving forward. We are going to focus on our RTI as well, because not just on Tier 1 but Tier 2 students, as we move forward, that targeted group instruction, and we're adopting that into all grade levels on reading and in math. Just backing up and refocus and taking a better look at those students that are having those areas of concern. One of the things that we're doing is our primary teachers have always done a lot of progress checks, charts throughout. Our upper grade teachers are taking a better look at that by focusing and tracking those students' progress. That's something that we feel they're going to gain a better understanding of that child's strengths and weaknesses, areas that we need to focus on. We've had a reading recovery and our math achievement fund, which we lost our math achievement grant. However, that was something that through some scheduling we were able to maintain, and we are still using her in that capacity, but where she was confined to the primary through that grant, she's expanded out through the upper grades as well. So she's not only providing some of those math intervention strategies with our upper grade teacher, she is also working with those students. Who is that? That's Ms. Brandy LeMaster. Another thing with our reading recovery we still have, and that again limits us to the primary, but also through that we're able to free up a person that has had reading recovery knowledge. She has worked with RTI, so we're implementing her to work with the upper grades to kind of extend that reading recovery through. And actually it kind of goes with the, not specifically the title, but a knowledge reduction person. That's her major focus, is to look at those students. But not only those students, which she works with as well, but she works with those teachers, helping to identify students, helping to identify strengths, weaknesses, strategies to use, and then also she is just, I lost my train of thought where I was going with it. The reading interventions, it'll come back to me here in just a minute. So we're excited to have her in place. She has attended the knowledge reduction training. Ms. Ward has attended those as well. They have met with PLCs a couple times, starting to implement that. One of the big things through that is our 30, 60, 90 plans that those specific grade levels PLCs are developing, seeing areas and ways to improve those students. Again, they've attended those knowledge reduction trainings, and we want to continue through those to implement those strategies to decrease that novice and apprentice and increase our provision distinction.
And our final one tonight is Mr. Halsey from the high school.
Our test scores did slide about a point compared to the previous year. 82nd percentile, top 18% of all high schools, proficient high school. We're about 2 points away from being a distinguished high school, and that's our goal. That's our public stated goal. Actually, we have 2. Our ACT score is going to be higher than across the creek, and we're going to be a distinguished school this school year. We took a good increase in language arts. We took some hits in some other places. We increased the things that we targeted, which says to us that, you know, with the leadership team, the input of the teachers, district administration, we can do what we want to do. We can teach these young folks what they need to know. One thing we were really proud of, doesn't reflect in our actual state accountability, but it was a target area for us. Our senior ACT, we get 5-year trend data back over the past 5 years. Our senior ACT 5-year data was the highest it's been in 5 years. Took a significant jump last year with our seniors. Gut feeling right now, and some seniors still have the December 12th date, some seniors will take it one more time. Gut feeling based on what data we've seen, it's going to be even higher this year. It's going to again go up this year with our senior. Not so much for us about what those numbers were and where they come from. It's about, okay, here's the data we've got, what other data do we have or can we get, and how do we move forward here to do the very best we can for every single kid. Some of the things, and a lot of it's just kind of reiteration of what the other principals have said. Parent contacts at the high schools. Unfortunately, a lot of parents begin to disengage. Kids start driving themselves to school, those kind of things. So we went to parent contact logs, and we've got kind of a set of guidelines. If a child has below a C, they must be contacted. And the parents or the teachers have to log that, turn it in to me every 4.5 weeks, much as when your open house time frames. And there's other things, just not if they got a C and they've been an A student, they got to be contacted too. But parent contact logs, and surprisingly, the teachers are surprised how happy the parents are to get these calls. I don't know what they expected. I think some of them expected, you know, if you call and say, did you know your son or daughter was failing my class, then maybe that's not happened. I mean, the response to that's been really good. But that's a big thing, is to get the parents more engaged, and that we've got the documentation that, yes, we contacted you 3 times, we're not seeing the improvement, or we contacted you once and we did improve, those kind of things. The other thing, and today was the first big piece of that puzzle, we've done other stuff, is in high school you get 1 shot at this, and it happens other points, K through 12, but it's not like we get to test them in math at 5th grade, see how they done, and retest that same child at 6th grade. It doesn't work like that. They get it typically at their sophomore year, at the end of their Algebra 2, English 2, U.S. History, Biology. 1 shot and you're done. You're not testing that child ever again for state accountability. So, you know, yes, we care how that child did, or this particular group of children did. Next year's a new crop. You know, that data may not hold true for that. So we're going to full-blown mock practice, ACT exams for all sophomores and juniors, and plan, which is the 9th, 10th grade version of the ACT for freshmen. We did that today. We tested 900 kids, time test, just like the ACT would be. This morning worked pretty well. We had a few little glitches we've never, that I've known of, tested. You don't do that during state testing because it's scattered out over that 5-day window. We tested everybody but seniors today. Juniors and sophomores all took the ACT, and it's a real ACT. We've got a staff member, Ms. Ratliff, who's certified as a Kaplan ACT instructor. They built the test. They've done that through their PLCs. All freshmen took the plan. All seniors, we split those out with teachers not testing, and they worked on their college and career readiness, which goes back to the parent contacts and what are we doing for those kids. But having those mock exams, we'll have the results tomorrow morning. They are over there tonight, and we'll grade and score all night long. Now, they can Scantron most of it, but you got to do some work. We'll have those results tomorrow. Because tomorrow evening's an early release, we want that data before we release tomorrow, so we can analyze that data in those department PLC meetings and see what we need to focus on. You know, which kid missed which question. If 80% of our kids missed question number 13, we need to look at 13. We'll do something similar with the ELC, our end of course exams, which is where your state scores come from, in the late March, early April time frame, depending on weather and snow days and those kind of things. So we've got time to target that moving into state assessment. We just got to have more data on our high school kids, and we're already tested to death. Kids actually enjoyed it today. It worked well. We had big Thanksgiving lunch. You know, we kind of gave them a little bit of downtime this afternoon. It worked really well. All in all, I thought there were some glitches with getting 900 calculators. Thanks to the middle school, they shared calculators with us and those kind of things. Math curriculum, we made a major shift in our math curriculum. Statewide at high school, math is not a bright spot. It's not a bright spot for us, unfortunately. I mean, we're holding our own kind of state. We did away with the integrated math. You used to have the option in high school of taking integrated math 1, integrated math 2, integrated math 3, integrated math 4, and that was your 4 math classes. The name itself has kind of a negative connotation if you're in integrated math versus an algebra or whatever. It also meant that integrated math 4 lined up with algebra 2, which meant 7-8 days before those seniors graduated that were in integrated math 4, you were giving them a status test, that EOC for math. They didn't care. They already knew. Whether, you know what I'm saying? It made no sense to be testing those seniors. So we have shifted that. We offer Algebra 1, Algebra 1.5 for those kids that need more support, Algebra 2, Geometry, and then, of course, the upper level classes, pre-calculus, you know, advanced math, those kind of things. The idea is to keep seniors from taking those EOC courses. Now, there'll still be some seniors if they've unfortunately failed a class or something, but keep whole classes of seniors from taking a state assessment, you know, 2 weeks before they graduate or whatever. About 60% of our students are in 2 math classes, much like your elementary schools will sometimes block out a block of time and they'll kind of get a double dose of reading or math or those kind of things. Math is a big area for us, and looking at STEM education, the technical, we got to do better in math for our kids to be globally competitive. So we looked at their Explorer test from 8th grade, their plan scores from 10th grade, ACT if they were a junior or senior, and if they weren't meeting those benchmarks that gets them into college, or gets them in college without having to take the remediation courses, we put them in an intervention class. So if you're in Algebra 2, you might also be in an Algebra 2 intervention that is strengthening your basic skills at the same time you're learning the actual Algebra 2 content. Seems to be working really well. I thought we'd get a lot of pushback, but it seems to be working really well. We've done some other things with curriculum about timing. We took a significant drop, there's no other way to put it, in U.S. history last year. We did essentially what we've been doing before, except we tested essentially all sophomores and juniors in U.S. history. They made a shift in the curriculum a couple of years before in the order that you took classes, and when we moved world civilization 2 years ago to a junior class, that meant we had to play catch up this year. So most of our groups, Algebra 2, we tested 290 kids, biology 290 kids. U.S. history, we tested 540 on the computer in that one day. I think we did a little bit poorly just with our logistics and the numbers we had to manage and that kind of stuff. I think it had an impact. That won't happen again. But we're not just saying that was all of it. We've looked at some stuff in our mock exams and how we're preparing for U.S. history. But I think it just kind of caught up with us there. We had 600 kids to test that day in U.S. history. We are developing a 30, 60, 90-day plan, much like everybody else. It goes back to the strategic plan of the district. In fact, before we leave tomorrow, each of our PLC department groups are to give me and many of them turned them in today for me to review, kind of that strategies, 6 strategies for what the math department thinks are our 6 priority strategies, language arts, so forth, and how that translates into a 30, 60, 90-day plan. Again, back to what Mr. Sayer said, something that's simple and concise and that we can all understand. That we say, you know, in 60 days we're going to do this. It's easy enough to look each other in the face and say, did we do that or not? And there's no big educational jargon to hide behind or whatever. We go 30, 60, 90 now, thinking 30 is basically at Christmas, 60 is basically at Valentine's Day in there, weather, you know what I'm saying, and 90 puts us basically at spring break, given weather, which still gives us plenty of time to make sure that we have a positive impact on all those students that are going to be state assessed this year and those kind of things. You know, we could talk specifics. We had way too many apprentices. Novice reductions go statewide. We had way too many apprentices, back to the cut scores, kids that missed being proficient by 2 or 3 points. Did they not understand what it took? We know a lot of those answers. Maybe we didn't. At high school, you have to be motivated and you got to inform them. They need to know, I need to get, you know, so many questions. I need, because they'll play that game with you. And some of those kids, that kid that wants to just be proficient and they're satisfied, if they think they've answered enough questions, they may start guessing, you know. I mean, that's the truth, you know. Now, that's on us to keep them engaged and motivated, but it's also on us so that they really understand the logistics and the background of what it takes to score at this level or that level on the ACT, on the plan, on the ELCs. Last thing I'll say goes back to our parent connection, I guess. And of course, if you guys have any questions, that individual student connection, we've declared November College and Career Month, while freshmen, sophomore, juniors were testing today with the mock ACT plan. All those teachers not involved in testing, that was a pretty good number. Everybody that was certified, not just teachers, if you hold a certificate. We split the rest of them out, and if you want to go to Moorhead, we put you with the teacher who went to Moorhead and graduated. And they worked on getting their fast ID numbers, so when January comes, they're ready to log in and do that. We put them with those people because if you're going to Moorhead and you want to know what dorm life is like or that kind of stuff, same thing if you're going to Eastern, same thing if you're going here. And you know, my office today, we had kids sitting in the corners in the floor with laptops getting their fast ID numbers and that kind of stuff with some adult supervision. But making that personal connection, our goal is, and we're going to fall a little short of it because tomorrow's the last day, was every senior, we had their name and their plan, what college they had applied to, which colleges, had they sent their transcript. We sent out probably, I don't know, 70 or 80 transcripts today of kids that just hadn't got it. And a grown-up got right with them and said, you got to do it right now if you're, you know. So our goal was every kid right now when we go home at Thanksgiving knows what, at least what the plan is for where they're going, what it takes, what it costs, all those kinds of things, and answer those questions, whether it's college or career vocational, or they just want to get a job. You know, we certainly don't believe everybody needs to go to college. And I think that's been a pretty big success. In my point of view, we had a college career fair last Wednesday, just for seniors and then juniors after that. We've had, unfortunately, some brutally honest conversations with kids. Not everybody has the background to be a brain surgeon, but everybody has the power and the ability, the capacity to be successful and be a productive, contributing member of our society here in Johnson County and across the state, and that's our goal. We're making a lot better connections with trade schools, vocational schools. The Job Corps has got a wonderful program coming in January that a lot of our kids kind of more what I think of a more old school vocational instead of some of the career and technical, because some of that's really technical. Those personal connections with the kids is what we got to do at the high school. You know, and we've done well with our seniors. Now we got to push that down from the time they're a freshman, knowing they're going to change their mind. But parents and kids, when they're a freshman, ought to have some idea, this is what my next 4 years look like. This is the classes I'm most likely taking. This is the state test I'm most likely taking. And this is what I think I want to do. I want to go to Moorhead State, or I want to go to Marshall, or I want to go to Big, you know, and have that plan before December of their senior year, if that makes any sense. But, you know, stop by anytime. You know, we welcome your input. You're always welcome to visit us. If you've got any questions, we'll be happy to discuss them with you. Sorry, I went a little long.
Next on the agenda, 6C, Ms. Rice.
Yes, she couldn't be here tonight, but she has applications for 2 shortened days for students with severe and special needs, and she's just seeking approval for those.
Motion to approve.
Motion's made, second, any discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed, motion carries. 6D.
The next one is, she is seeking a contract with Cleveland Clinic for student needs, so we need to approve that one as well.
It's a continuation of what we've done in the past. We could work with special ed and autism units. We'll have to continue that. Again, the board has to approve all contracts the same. Jonathan Shaw has looked at it, Mike, and approved it, saying that everything is good to go.
Thank you. Is there a motion? Second. Motion's made, second, any discussion? If there be none, all in favor say aye. Any opposed, motion carries. 6E, Mr. Sayer.
Again, last time before we approved our community members for our local planning committee. We have updated that now, including all of our teachers, administrative staff, and principals. So we just like to get that information there to you that's presented and ask for your approval on it. And going forward, again, Scotty talked about earlier with the architects currently doing assessment things on building. As soon as we get information back to our our KSBA consultant, Don Martin, will get together and start our local planning facility process with public meetings and discussion. Where to go forward, what our vision for our facilities are in the future at Johnson County Schools.
Second. Motion's made and seconded. Any discussion? There'll be none. We'll call for a vote. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. 6F, Mr. Sayer.
Again, last time we asked you to give us permission to bid trucks out, and we have currently done that. We have got a couple of bids in on those. We have done some research. One bid is lower than the other, but we currently have a snow plow on hand that is made for a Chevrolet truck. We would go with the other brand, the Dodge. We'd have to buy a new snow plow for it. We feel it's more cost effective. Maybe pay a little higher price for the Chevrolet.
What's the difference?
About $3,000, but if we buy a snow plow, we're looking about probably about $4,000 or $5,000. So we're trying to look what's the most cost-effective way for the district to do that. Since we currently have one already on hand, we don't think we'd be out that cost. We're saving some money because of that. So,
I'm sorry, is it two bids, two Chevy versus two Dodges?
Yes, sir.
Make a motion that we buy the two Chevys. Do you need a motion? You look asking for a motion?
yes, sir.
Motion's made and seconded. Any further discussion? If there'll be no discussion, we'll call for a vote. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next, student trips. Mr. Easted.
On behalf of Mr. Easted, we couldn't be here. He did have a death in the family. I'm sure he'd rather be here than where he's at right now. But I meant to say that earlier, that's why he wasn't able to be here to speak today. We have the coaches and then for student trips. Middle school has just started scheduling for wrestling, and they've added an overnight trip for December the 5th to Charleston, West Virginia. I think all of our academic trips have been approved. I wanted to mention those just in case they weren't. December the 12th, the academic team is going to Edmonson County, and December the 9th, the academic team is traveling to Danville.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve those?
So made.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Fairchild had the presentation as well.
He did. I think it's a special ed group that's going, using our bus Special Olympics that we've normally done in the past. So we'd like to approve that also.
Very good. Is there a motion to do so? Motion to amend. Second. Second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Grant applications, Mr. Bowles and Mr. Castle.
Basically, all I have is, I have a teacher who's interested in participating in a grant for the Southeast Kentucky Chamber of Commerce's Foundation for Education. It's not something that's going to cost the district anything. If we receive the grant, then it'll provide my 5th and 6th grade with some technology for their classroom. If we don't receive it, then nothing's, we're not at any cost with that.
Motion to approve.
Second. Second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
We're looking at it through Kentucky State Shakespeare. It's a art grant, and it can be up to $2,500. That pays for different programs, living history, Kentucky history, fairy tales from around the world. It's just an art program that provides opportunity for us. We just would like to apply for that. And again, it's not anything to the district. It's just the applied cost if we get it, then those funds are used to pay for those.
Thank you. Is there a motion? Second. Motion made second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 6I, need to approve the first reading on the board policy revision.
On preschool education, I guess we got this last week, Thursday or Friday, one at
Late Thursday afternoon, there was an oversight. We got the change made on policy 9.121. The oversight on the date for policy 8.1114 was it's an incorrect date to get us back into compliance with House Bill 235. So we do ask that you make the change as recommended. Kentucky School Board Association and I sat down and got everything in line. So we do ask that you look at that as a first reading. as is.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
We don't need to.
No, it's first reading.
Thank you. Also, you've got the superintendent's personnel report, and at this point in time, we'd like to give a motion to go into recess, to go into executive session pursuant to KRS 61.810 to discuss possible proposed litigation.
Motion made, Mr. Chairman.
Is there a second?
Second motion.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We'll this time go into executive session.